31. Be extraordinary. Everybody is believing on a supreme power, but according to his own belief. To analyze moral duty, act willfulness, individual endeavor and greatness, strong extraordinary intention is needed. An illiterate man cannot fulfill his basic requirements. That is why great people have come from ages to ages to teach them. Man wants to survive hailing with the power when he falls into the severe helplessness. The power is worshipable which fulfill all the need. You can't satisfy God without being satisfied with His wishes. The foundation of belief in Allah is to believe in fate. That is, you are to attain prayers, implement the orders and instructions of Allah in your life, attain tawakkul, and to attain fast. Being self-dependent by self-confidence is tawakkul. Tawakkul means to rely on the supreme power and to do own duties. Tashawwuf means to remain firm on the path of Allah and Prophet, promise to obey Allah, Prophet Muhammad, and to maintain solvency and interest of your family. Allah has said that He has not sent any prophet who does not know the language of his community, so that he can explain the orders and instructions of Allah very clearly to them. From time to time, prophets were sent to establish religion. No lies were there in the prophets. You should follow the path of Prophet Muhammad. He is the physician of the spiritual diseases of mankind. To believe on the prophets means to consider the knowledge acquired by sense organs and intelligence not sufficient. Prophet were three kind: divine, qualified, powerful. No prophet has said that I have come for the Hindus or for the Muslims or for the Christians. They said that they came for mankind, for all, like a light. Krishna, Muhammad, and Jesus Christ became the assets for the nations and problems created with these assets. Men never quarrel for light, but they do it for cattles. The main idea of preaching a religion is sacrifice and greatness. The basic teachings of all the religions are the same, that is, Allah is one and supreme. Anybody can understand that Allah is one if he thinks with a free mind. The main object of the teachings of all the prophets is that Allah is one. Fear, hope, love, spiritualism can prevent man from dishonest activity. The honest activity is increased by hope and love. Do not bother for excess of mourn and misery. Don't cross the limit of oneness notion and injustice. The main idea of all the religions is the same, but its branches are separate. There are two sides of a religion's basic and branch. Religion is not limited to rules and regulations only. According to Islam, there is no directive to act upon something which is superficial. As soon as a man is born, he belongs to a family and is related to some people. One may refrain from bad deed by the preaching religious conduct and role model. The religion's rules and regulations are the treasure of Allah for mankind. A man destroys himself if he misuses anything which is placed on his custody. Whichever is meaningful, permitted by Islam, and is used for an honest purpose is admissible by Islam. Shariat is the street for common people. Shore means a footpath of a desert which leads to a particular destination. Few people follow the proper procedure laid down by Islam. Shariat gives us an idea about sins, dishonest acts and negative ways. Shariat discusses with the outward relations between men and Allah, between people and between men and nature, which controls the worldly life and improves a man personally. We should not do anything against the rules of God, should not look at such acts, and should not discuss with other regarding such matters. The knowledge of Quran become more transparent, easy accomplish, and its importance analysis is done through implementation of hadiths. Isma and Qiyas based on the Holy Quran and the hadith. Fiqh means to find out the actual meaning of all types of Islamic knowledge. The orders and instructions of Allah are of two kinds. That is, supernatural and natural, for example, birth, death, and procedural, that is, prayers and fasting. According to Islamic philosophy, Islamic rules are divided into 5 parts. Trust, iman, justice, sanctity, tawakkul, worship, prayer, fasting, haze and yakat, works, custody, marriage, peace, punishment, equality of blood, regulated or selected, for rectification, with due consideration. There are their stages of decisions of Shariat, those are believable, verbal and formal. The procedures for welfare are written in Shariat. If we follow the instructions of Shariat, peace and displace will prevail in our society. Observation of Islamic laws and acquiring Islamic knowledge are complementary to each other. Who don't follow Sharia ruins himself, and who don't acquire Tariq become illiterate. Shariat is the body of Islam and Tariq is its heart. Coordination between the knowledge of Shariat and Marifat is Islam. Those who follow both Shariat and Marifat are salvaged. Shariat rectifies a concrete thing's body and Marifat rectifies abstract things' soul. Marifat of all religions are the same, but Shariat differs from religion to religion. Shariat tells us to be loyal to Islam and to pray devotedly. Shariat or fiqh tells us to trust on religion, to be honest and to pray. It is a regulation for our outwardly activities. Tariq or Tasawwuf tells us to follow Shariat regularly. It gives us knowledge and shows us procedures of our activates. It teaches us to trust on Islam and makes us nice and firm. Haqiqat tells us to attain the knowledge about the qualities of Allah by our theoretical knowledge through sense organs, self-analysis and self-confidence. Marifat tells us to attain the secret theory of positive peace. Marifat makes a bridge between Allah and mankind. Acquire knowledge by taqwa and then you will find the light of Marifat. And theoretical knowledge will flow in your heart. Taqwa means to follow all the positive orders of Allah. Taqwa makes a mind free from all worldly illusions. He who spends his morning thinking about Allah, Allah relieves him from all worries in the life hereafter. Sufism is based on experience. Who is not dependent to other and nobody is dependent to him, is really religious. Sufis lead a nice life, a praiseworthy character and have sacred principles. They alone with the heavenly size and shape and gradually reaches to such a stage that common man does not understand that well. It can be understood by the people who have reached to that stage. Perseverance is required to reach this stage. He who practices self-control for attaining his goal and ideal is called practicer or mujahada. For this good association is greatly helpful. Allah is permanent and the rest all are temporary. Keep account of your daily activities and correct your mistakes. Engage yourself in positive activities with hope and perseverance. Remain firm and calm, work continuously and regularly. We should attain tolerance, contentment, surrender to Allah, follow the order and instruction of Allah, and thus we shall get mental peace and internal feelings. When we do zikr we should remain physically and mentally Puritan, control our 5 organs, think deeply, remember Allah wholeheartedly and think as if the whole world is a body and Prophet Muhammad, is its heart. The holy souls always remain alive in either. It is possible when we attain devotion to Allah, trust on Him and concentration to Him. Keep your mind free from worries. Power of thinking and imagination is required for spiritual or mental adoration. Power of control on head, face, tongue, nose, lips, heart and lungs are required for physical adoration. Shariat is words or orders, Tariq is actions, Haqiqat is enthusiasm and Marifat is philosophy. We should remember Allah for all the time, praise Him, be grateful to Him and think about Him, thus we can be successful in every sphere of our life. We should follow the prophets in all matters, because their lives are great lessons for us. Who worship as a bed, who sacrifice all is Jat, who realize God is Aref, who is friend of God is Ali, Muttaqi Bias, Taki, who is wealth protractor and custodian is Kazan and Azazil. When you will be fully devoted to Allah, then all His orders, your all activities, all sufferings, death etc. will be acceptable to you. You will no more worry for wheels and woes. Everything rotates around its central point and everybody unites with his own species. Part of it goes back to the whole. At last all will be equal. Union with Allah is called fana, that is succeeding willingly is salvation. Adam and Eve met each other in the field of Arafat in Arab. Islam is the outwardly and physical procedure for the Muslims. He is the real believer in Allah, to whom Prophet Muhammad, is more dearer than his parents, children, relatives, friends, neighbors, that is, all persons and all assets. Try to follow the prophets. It will make your mind calm and steady, and in this way you will find the truth and good advices. He is a Muslim who is verbally, physically and financially sincere, sacrifices everything for Allah, Prophet Muhammad, and strives for peace, and from whose tongue and hands all others are secured. Mujahid is he who fights willfully by his positive emotion. Kaaba is the first mosque of the Muslims, which determines the balance and longevity of all places, all ages and all people of the world. It is like the soul of the mankind in a great meeting center, which solves all controversies. Islamic sense of values converts all disunities and fears into equity, peace and security. Allah remains present within the five sense organs of a person who can go closer to Him. Trust on Allah. Trust that everything, good or bad, is decided by Allah. Whatever, good or bad, you have faced was a must. And whatever has not come to you, cannot come at all. He who loves Allah feels pleasure to obey Him. He does not feel anxiety for any and realize that happens for the best of something. To Allah, there is no disparity between an aristocrat and an ordinary man. As you know that everything is decided by Allah. So why do you become sorry for what you could not gain? If you know about the happiness and peace of the life hereafter, why do you feel sorry for any want of this world? Nobody can get anything in this world, beyond his fate. Have a firm faith that nobody more powerful than Allah. May Allah guide us, get good acts done by us, get good words told by us, uncover truth to us and give us the power to follow Him. Allah alone is sufficient for us. He is only to be worshipped and we seek His shelter. Pray to Allah, O Allah. I am asking for such things from you, which were wanted by the prophets, and you can only help us and can solve our problems. With my limited power, I can only praise you. All my desires are only to you. Of course, you have authority over everything. I am asking for your shelter with my useless knowledge. Asking for excuse from my uncourageous soul and asking for refraining me from such acts and prayers which are not acceptable to Him. There is nobody to be worshipped except Allah, and Prophet Muhammad, who is His representative. I am giving evidence that nobody else is entitled to get worship except Allah. He is the sole authority and Allah has got no partner. Prophet Muhammad, who is the servant and representative of Allah. There is nobody to be worshipped except Allah. Allah is the sole authority of the universe and there is nobody to share His authority. Prophet Muhammad, who is the pioneer of all the pious men and is the representative of Allah. There is nobody to be worshipped except Allah. Allah is like light. Allah guides towards His light whomsoever He likes. Prophet Muhammad, who is the representative of Allah, leader of all prophets and the last prophet. O Allah, I am really begging your shelter so that I don't consider anybody as your partner. I am beginning excuse from you for my known and unknown sins, and I am promising not to repeat those. I am believing that there is nobody to be worshipped except Allah and Prophet, who is His representative. O Allah, I am asking for my welfare from you with the knowledge given by you and asking for power from you with the power you have given me. And I am begging for your great mercy. In fact, you hold the actual power and I don't hold any power, and you hold the real knowledge and I don't hold any knowledge, and you are the greatly knowledgeous about all unseen. O Allah, if according to your knowledge my job is God for me, then allot that for me, make it easy for me, and give me prosperity through it. And if according to your knowledge, it is harmful to me, refrain me from that. Please, allot welfare for me, wherever it is, and then give me satisfaction out of that. Allah gives us peace after sorrows. It is illusion which has covered the eyes of our society. Some group of people have a wrong idea about Allah. They won't disclose to you what they conceive in their minds. They says they would not have been killed here if they had some rights. Prophet Muhammad, you tell them that those who are supposed to be killed, would surely be present to the place to be killed, and Allah knows what is there in your minds. In this way, He tests your minds, and Allah also knows the secret intentions of all minds. Darud do not sina, O Allah. You are bestow your mercy to our leader, Prophet Muhammad, and his family relieve us from all our dangers, fulfill all our desires and keep us secured from all sins, and place us to an honorable status in front of you and lead us to the highest step of welfare in the world and hereafter. Of course, you are the most powerful and the most benevolent. Please fulfill our desires. O Prophet Muhammad, tell them that glory is in Allah's hands. He gives it to him whom He wishes, and Allah is great wise. He bestows kindness to him whom He wishes, and Allah is the great glorious. O Allah, please give me the admissible things and keep me away from the forbidden things, and don't make me dependent to others. O the Eternal, when there was nothing in your kingdom, you were present. Tell them that no danger can touch us except what allotted by Allah. He is our Lord, and the believers should depend on Allah. If Allah attacks you with disaster, nobody else can relieve you from it except Him. And if He wishes for your betterment, nobody can resist it. He favors anybody He likes among His followers. There is no creature in the world whose footing is beyond Allah's jurisdiction, and He only knows about their shelter and recess. All these are written in the Holy Qur'an. Of course, I depend on Allah, who is the guardian of myself and yours. He is controlling the fates of the exploring creatures. There is not exploring creatures beyond it. Of course, my Lord is in the right path. There are many creatures who don't earn their livelihood, but Allah gives food to them as well as yourselves, and He listens to all and is a great wise entity. Nobody can stop what Allah grants, and what He closes cannot be opened by anybody, and He is the greatest, valiant and scientific. And if you ask them, who has created this world? Of course they will say that it is Allah. Tell them, have you ever thought that whom you pray against Allah? If Allah gives you troubles, can they remove it whom you worship instead of Allah? Or if He bestows favors, can they stop that? O Muhammad, tell Allah alone is sufficient for me. All those who are dependent, depends on Him alone. Ayatul Kursi, Allah is the only entity to be worshipped. Nobody else is there to be worshipped. He is eternal and ever-living. Dodge and sleep cannot touch Him. Everything between the sky and the earth belongs to Him. Who is there who can request to Him without His permission? He knows whatever seen and unseen. Without His wish, nobody can understand anything out of His unlimited knowledge. His throne is spread everywhere in the sky and the earth. He does not feel any problem to maintain discipline of both the places. He is too high and great. Divine books are dependable and guide those who follow the straight path. It lead them to the right path, refresh and delight their minds. O my Allah, has your unlimited mercy has been finished for me? Has your unlimited treasure of forgiveness also become empty for me? Or you are behaving miserly to forgive me? If you stop your mercy and kindness for your servant, to whom will He expect? And if you disappoint Him, to whom He will expect? Could my disobedience make any harm to you? Doing wrongs are the nature of the subject. If the door closed of your mercy and kindness for this ill-fate man, and if punishment is allotted for me in your court, nobody is there to oppose you. Let all the negative attitudes like a cup of sorrows go away from myself. Still not mine, but let your wishes be fulfilled. Allah is the director, producer and observer of the world, and He has fixed a particular time for trial of human beings. I want your shelter from invalidity, leanness, cowardice, misery, infirmity and the punishment of the grave. I want your shelter from the knowledge which is useless, from the heart which does not bow down, from the sense organs which is not satisfied, and from the prayer which is not granted. Please give me wisdom, peace, feelings, power of imagination, and let me bloom like a flower. Make my life holy, calm, soothing, delightful, successful, enthusiastic, lively and devoted. Enlighten me with your knowledge, conscience, judiciousness and intellect. The divine books are very significant, exemplary and full of valuable advices for the wise people, which enriches their power of thinking. The Holy Qur'an is a book of advices for the world. Let anybody take advice from it whosoever likes. If anybody leads his life according to the Qur'an, he gets mercy and welfare from Allah. The Holy Qur'an gives consciousness to all more or less. In the Holy Quran, all kinds of good and necessary things are described as advices for mankind. The Quran is a permanent document of human rights. The Quran has introduced equality in the whole world. The Quran is a total plan. Proper implementation of this brings happiness, peace and prosperity of mankind. The Quran is a book advises for the mankind, where the best things are described, which certifies all the divine books bestowed in the past in their protector. The Quran is a treasure of knowledge, acquiring which a life becomes successful. The Quran and the Sunnah, lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad, is the full-fledged procedure of life for mankind. Of course, in the Quran, there are rewards and advices for the believers. There are many logical points in the Quran for the confused people. 250 sentences of the Quran puts emphasis on science, and in 750 sentences the believers are ordered to practice science, explore the natural mysteries and follow the logical way, which covers 1/8 of the Quran. There are 4 kinds of ayat in the Quran letter: concealed, moral and constant. There are 4 things in the Holy Quran. Those are history regarding Pharaoh, the Quraysh, example, regarding Prophet Luqman and such explain, spiritual, regarding grave, life hereafter and other unseen spiritual matters, practical, instructions on the basic principles of allowed and forbidden factors. In the Quran, there are 114 verses, 6,353 sentence, 79,934 words and 338,606 alphabets, 76.5% of which have been descended in Mecca and 23.5% in Medina. The Quran is fabricated with the figure 19. The word Allah have been repeated 2,698 times, that is 19 times 142. The first message of the Quran was descended through the first 5 sentences of Surah Al-Alaq on the night of Qadr of Ramzan. Surah Fatiha is the substance of the whole Quran. Prophet Muhammad was awarded prophecy on Monday, the 12th of Rabiul Awwal, when he stepped on the first day of his 41 years of age. He left Mecca for Medina on 8th Rabiul Awwal of the 13th year of his Hijrat. He died on 12th Rabiul Awwal of the 11th year of his prophecy. Prophet Muhammad was having all the qualities the man can have. Starting from Prophet Muhammad up to the 4th Caliph Hazrat Ali, that is, up to 661 AD, no change was there in the field of knowledge. The Qurayshi community recognize Abu Bakr, Umar, and Shia community recognizes Hazrat Ali, as their caliph. The periods of the 4 caliphs are: Hazrat Abu Bakr, 632-634 82 years. Hazrat Umar, 634-644 80 years. Hazrat Osman, 644-656 80 12 years. Hazrat Ali, 656-661 85 years. 29 years as a whole. Editors of proper 6 hadiths advices of Prophet Muhammad, are Bukhari, Hizra 194-256, Muslim, RH 202-261, Abu Dawud, RH 202-261, Tirmizi, RH 209-279, Nasa'i, died on Hizri 303, Ibn Majah, died in 279 H. Musnad Ahmad, 164-231 H. Ma'ada Imam Malik, 93-179 H. About 3,300 years back, Divine Book the Torah was descended to Hazrat Musa, who was a Jew in Hebrew and Qibti languages. It was edited to cope up with their language, way of thinking and necessity. About 2,500 years ago, the Jabir was descended to Hazrat Daud, who was a Christian, in Aramean language. About 2,000 years ago, the Injil was descended to Hazrat Isa, who was a Christian, in Syriani language. Allah sent divine books containing 10 chapters to Prophet Adam, 50 chapters to Prophet Shish, 30 chapters to Prophet Idris, 10 chapters to Prophet Abraham, making total of 100 small chapter. Allah has sent mainly for divine books. The previous divine books were quite suitable for its own ages. Due to change of time, Allah has descended the additional of a new divine book. There are 5 basic principles of Islam: believe, prayers, yakat, fasting and haze, living, non-living, vice, virtue, asrava, sangvar, bond, freedom from aging and salvation. These are the 9 principles of the chains. Middle course: 4 noble truths, 8-fold noble path, disinterestedness, doctrine of action, chain of causation. 4 codes of law, 4 right endeavors, 4 supernatural powers, respect, valor, memory, intense contemplation, wisdom, 5 sense organs, 5 strengths, 7 components of understanding, 8-fold path. Thus we can make ourselves fit for doing something good for the mankind. We should be benevolent, gentle, steady, courageous, practice mediation, acquire knowledge, be kind to all the creatures, be friendly to human beings and neglect the negligible matters. Thus always remain mentally cheerful. We shall remain mentally peaceful for all the time, and all our mournings, mental sufferings and worries will go away, and no negative situation will be able to affect us mentally. The law of Moses were made during Hebrew civilization. At that time, they organized a social organization and one party on the basis of nationalism. As up to that period, they could not grow experience to establish a political system. Ownership of property and succession followed the same way as that of Roman and Greek races. Christianism teaches mankind that love is more valuable than knowledge. God does not understand my feelings. Why the sinful soul is not leaving my body? The night is dark, I am suffering from parting, my night is passing by counting the stars. I can't tolerate any more. I will commit suicide. I am waiting for you from morning till evening. You did not open the curtain of my room, not even talk to me. The time is up. Now tell me, why are you enraged with me? God has met me in my dream. I did not know that he was going away. My eyes opened. I found that God was not there. I started repenting. I am waiting for your arrival. But now I find that there is no possibility of your coming. Oh my God, I am mad of your love. Nobody feels for me. My bed is thorny, how can I lie down? The bed of my darling is on the sky, how can we be united? A sufferer only knows about his sufferings, and he also knows who has given him the sufferings. A jeweler only knows about him, and a jewel also knows it. I am running through the jungles due to the pains of parting. No physician is found. Mind, play the holy game for a few days in autumn. In this holy game of mine, without instrument and wanted sound creates rhythm. Despite lack of music, conversation of 36 tone goes on. I have made a mixture of manners and satisfaction and pumped out love and affairs. By my reddishness all clouds has been reddened, unlimited color is blooming. I have uncovered all the veil from within my body and have left all shames. Nobody can write the biography of a person with whom he has not eaten or drunk or have maintained social relation. The hell is made for the sinner's purifications. It is made for those who are having negative attitudes, but one can rectify himself and go to the heaven. Rescuing will be available when heaven will be created in mind. Before the souls were sent to the earth, it was kept in another world named Ilamayawa. You can't rectify your conscience without spiritual adoration. Rectify your character, keep your conscience alert and improve your soul. When a man learns to suspect especially about his own belief, about unjustified religious sermons and about universal truth, then a philosophical thought arises in his mind. Socrates sacrificed his life for philosophy. Pythagoras and Aristotle had to flee away from their cities. Spinoza was segregated from his caste. Karl Marx also had to spend years together in exile. Philosophy arranges various scientific knowledge. Neither a young man should wait nor an old man should be anxious to be a philosopher. Because philosophical realization does not come earlier or later. It comes when it feels. For the philosophers, nothing is wonderful or unbelievable. Presence of a certain entity like God neglects philosophy and a philosopher. Philosophy can explain the deeds of the past and the future, but the calamities of the present affect him adversely. Socrates proved by sipping in a cup of poison that the life of a great man is too negligible in comparison with his ideology. In fact, philosophy is the father of civilization. In the flow of history, spiritualism or materialism both have given an idea of a prosperous life to mankind, have encouraged for the truth and to follow the nice and beneficial path. Those who can see, feel and explain the known and unknown, sensitive or non-sensitive to sense organs, visible and invisible things, matters sensitive or non-sensitive to feelings, are the philosophers. Science can educate us, but only philosophy can give us knowledge throughout our conscience. Because nothing can be explained without the help of philosophy. And we have no other way except knowledge.